Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
Quiet morning, quiet evening, Joel. We're not in earnings season. There's just not a lot of action. No news out of Cyprus because they solved that the day before. What's going to give us the move here today?
Just everyone's focusing on this 1550 level in the S&Ps. We got one close out, above it Friday. We failed to take out the high of the move during the intraday session. We fell back hard, just hanging mid-range here. Two numbers to focus on are the close, 1547. We dipped a tad below that. And then I got a good swing number at Friday's close at 1552. So those are the two numbers to focus on this morning.
Show us yesterday's chart there, Joel. I just want to talk about the trading action from yesterday because we keep cutting through those 1540s so quickly. If you see yesterday, obviously we topped out early in the session, broke through Joel's critical number of 1556, never looked back, straight down through the entire 1550s and through the entire 1540s. Getting down there, where did we get down to? Is that right? We got all the way down to 15.
Yeah, they got down there to 1539, and then
we bounce.
Yeah, that was actually Thursday's close, which to me was a real minor number. What I was looking for, and obviously people were looking ahead of me, was this all important triple bottom here, folks. This is the key to the continuation of this bull market here, 1535, but still 15 points away from there.
It's just every time we go through those 1540s too, we cut through it like it's nothing. We go up through it and we go down. So when we cut through it on the downside, we just blow right through it all. We go through it on the upside, we blow right through it all again. Here we are back up at 1550. They just don't like trading the 1540s. They get out of them as quickly as they can. So resistance remains up in the 1550s, obviously, and Joel's giving you some good numbers of support down there at 1535. Moving on to individual stocks here, though, Joel, we do have Apple. It was kind of a quiet day for Apple. It obviously sold off with the overall market, but the relative strength still pretty good on Apple yesterday, despite the market sell-off. Apple was trying to stay green. I think it stayed green almost the entire day, if I'm not mistaken. Got now down near where it had closed the day before, but it held that, and now it's trading up just slightly here this morning.
Pretty technical day yesterday for Apple. Let's
bring up yesterday's chart there, Joel, just so we can look at it there.
Yeah, that would be better,
yeah,
huh?
I can talk about it.
Okay, 469.95 was the high. We did have a minor number at the February 15th high at 470.16, and then you get into whole Dennis's round number theory, and that seemed to put the brakes on the rally. And then, just from a technical point of view, and for you traders that are watching gaps and things like that, we came down to 461.78, and Friday's close was 469.70, or excuse me, 461.91. So we came right into the close, which also was the high, found support and got a bounce. Still like to see us hold 460, but things look kind of thin between the close and back up to that 470 level.
Yeah, critical that it holds that whole 460 area. I agree with you because that's where it broke out from before. So I'd like to obviously see some strength here today. At least get up and try to get up to yesterday's high if possible. But if it starts to take out that 460, then I would get nervous with it. But chart still looks pretty good to me overall on Apple. BlackBerry, BBRY, had a really interesting day yesterday. Obviously, the big Goldman Sachs downgrade. If you bring up you got the chart there from yesterday. Sold off early in the pre-market, sold off a bit, but then started to come back in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And this morning here, it is trading up here again. So I'm not sure if it's just a bounce. I never seen. Did you see a headline on BlackBerry? I never did.
No, I didn't. I mean, Goldman kind of got stuffed on this one a little bit.
It's going right now, actually. I'm going to go try to see if there's a headline, but I'll let you do the technical.
Okay, yeah, something just popped up. But we'll do the technicals. Look at that. They got it right off the news. This is the Goldman Sachs downgrade, everybody. I got to get out. Goldman Sachs is downgrading it. People forget they upgraded it when it was at 19. We took out the pre-market low, which was 13.82, and then we traded down here. Let's just take a look at the dailies to see if we had found. Now, it really didn't have a good level to pick the bottom there as far as being under $14. but we do have a good reference point on the upside. 1462 was yesterday's high. We are opening into that, so that is resistance. Above that, you have a lot of room to get back to the $16 level, but we should see what happens here at this 1462 level in BlackBerry.
The reason it's getting the pop here is Bernstein says that gross margins and guidance are likely to surprise on BlackBerry. So that's why it's getting a little bit of a lift here. Bernstein giving some bullish comments there. Obviously, they report earnings on Thursday. So Bernstein bullish ahead of that earnings report. We do have some earnings. Speaking of earnings, we have a couple here today. We have PLCE, which is Children's Place, the little children's clothing retailer. They actually beat $1.15 versus $1.04, but the guidance is absolutely terrible. If that's right, this is being reported from Benzinga, 60 cents to 65 for the next quarter. Estimates are up at $1.20. So, terrible guidance there is what's knocking this stock down. It's ticked down now to 43.48, down $2.50 here in the pre-market.
Boy, I saw that and I was like, can that be right? But it sure is. 43.08 is where we ticked just a few moments ago. Let's go to the daily, try and get some context here of where we're trading at. This low may not be up. 43.46 was the low that you had December 28th at the end of last year. That's currently where we're trading. Use that as a parameter as well as the pre-market low. Below this 43.46, you do have some room down to the 42.21 level. But trading at minor support right now, along with the spike low that you had at 43.08.
Your disaster stock of the day is going to be Zyopharm Oncology. I can't even say these little one-trick ponies. These pharmaceutical companies, when they have their drugs don't work out, we know what happens. We've seen it we saw it there last week. Termination of development of, I don't know how to pronounce this, palifosphamide. So I think I'm kind of saying it right. Oh, well, Joel, you're awesome. You should. That's amazing.
Hey, wow. Look at the volume, Dennis.
Yeah, 2.6 million shares have traded here. It's at $1.95. It closed obviously up there at $5.13. So stock's down 62% here on the termination of this drug. Not good news for ZIOP longs.
1.76 is where we're trading in the pre-market. I mean, this is just a short seller's dream. I mean, if you're buying it here under $2 and 176, you're either, obviously, buying a call option on this stock, or you're covering a short. I don't think the dailies are going to help us out much in this stock. Maybe the weeklies will help us out in this stock.
You go to the monthlies.
In the monthlies. Oh, yeah, we're finding support here, Dennis. We are finding support. No, that's around the 50 cent level. Well, I don't think it's going to get there today. 176, if it gets through there, 155, 1.55 was the low in September of 2009. So keep an eye on that, folks.
Couple other stocks I want to highlight here. Just because they're going ex-dividend. Philip Morris went ex-dividend here this morning. PM for 85 cents. We've also got Kraft going ex-dividend, which is KRFT, 50 cents. So the adjusted close down at 50.75 on that one. You've got Deere going ex-dividend, DE, 51 cents. Let's stay on the Deere chart here for a minute, because obviously Deere had been quite weak here for the last 4 or 5 days, actually going into the ex-dividend day, but it was selling off just because those downgrades had beat it up. It had actually bounced back yesterday morning, and then obviously with the sell-off on the overall market, Deere cratered there yesterday, closing near the lows here. But it's an interesting chart. With the adjusted close, it's 86.37. What's that low there from yesterday?
Yesterday's low is 86.43.
So this is interesting setup here, because you've got a yesterday low of 86.43. You've got the adjusted close of 86.37. So you've kind of got that potential there that number could be very relevant here. Obviously, it's been at 86.50. It hasn't traded here this morning. But obviously that's going to be my bogey, is probably the close price of 86.37.
Yeah, but it holds there. You know, this thing does have a chance to rally under that. It's been down under the $86. Key number on the upside, 88.39 was Friday's high, 88.40 yesterday. So for you guys that have double tops program into your filters, there's one. But this is not a good looking chart by any stretch of the imagination. But doesn't bother the market. It seems to go higher, but this and as well as the cat have just.
These
I
two
mean,
stocks have not. Yeah.
What can you find bullish about that, Dennis, Mr. Bull?
Yeah, no, Caterpillar chart and Deere charts have not been good. We know that there's been some rotation, money coming out of stocks like this. It's found a home in something else. There's always something picking up the slack, it seems like. And, well, the financials are picking up the slack for a long time, but money has flowed out of them too. So that's the thing that we were saying even about this rally that is somewhat concerning now, is that money is coming out of the financials, has been for the last couple of weeks. Money has been floating out of cyclicals, and it had been flowing into the miners. You just brought a stock up there of NEM. You can see, NEM's up a couple bucks here in the last week and a half. So you can see there is still this whole risk off trade still kind of happening here. We'll have to see if that's going to continue to materialize. I know gold didn't have a great day yesterday, but if you look, it's still up over the last week and a half. Silver, we've been talking about that 27.50 level. I mean, I don't know how you get better support than something. That thing gets down there every time and it bounces off the 27.50. Eventually, it's probably going to take it out. But for the last month, basically, if you've been playing that level, you've been making money on that 27.50 level. Wanted to talk about a few other ones here too. You wanted to highlight actually Goldman Sachs. You were looking at a possible top there in the stock. It reversed obviously in its trading yesterday. Got a good lift in the morning, but then cratered along with the overall market in the afternoon.
Yeah, you still have to really be focusing on this $145 level. Focus it as support. You did get down below it yesterday to 144.68, and you have all these nice little lows here in that area as well. But just keep an eye on this, like the whole number. I mean, 145 is just critical for this stock. Got to bounce off it yesterday, trading up in the pre-market. But under 140, a close under 145, and I think this thing is back to 140 in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and then Citigroup, if you bring up the chart, it took out its low there yesterday. Yesterday, if you bring up the chart just from yesterday, you can see in the afternoon where everything got weak. Citigroup really sold off. It made those highs, held kind of for the first hour of trading, but then just collapsed, losing $1.40 before bouncing a bit towards the end of the day. It is up a little bit here this morning, a little bit of a bounce, 44.65, up 15 cents, but nothing really to write home about. Definitely a weak day yesterday for Citigroup, which probably has the longs a little bit concerned.
Yeah, I just want to focus on this Bank America too. This thing has found major resistance up here in $12.94, trying to get to that $13 level.
You can do it.
Made a $12.94 high, and then you've had $12.89, $12.84, came down to $12.72 yesterday. So Bank America, I mean, this thing needs to break out. I'm a feeling it might slide back down to the $12 level.
I think it needed a breakout before and it didn't do it, so I'm starting to get concerned on all these financials. They just don't look great to me, and like we were saying yesterday with the whole Cyprus thing, I mean, the market was up and it didn't really make sense, and you can see as people started a little more rational thought, you got a sell-off there in the afternoon, a pretty steep one here. You get a little bit of a bounce late in the day, and you're getting a little bit of a bounce here this morning, up 3 points. Durable goods just breaking here too, which is helping a little bit, put another point on the S&Ps. But I mean, really, it's getting scary in the 1550s. It's just we continue to sell off when we get up there.
Yeah, but set your alerts here on Morgan Stanley. 21.78 was yesterday's low. That matches to the tick the low on February 26 here. If anybody can identify support below that, then please email me at joel at premarketinfo.com. But it's holding as support as we speak. Support is support. So use it that level. But if you're long, it gets through there, hit the exit button.
Johnson Johnson ticked a new all-time high yesterday, just under the $80 level. Couldn't get up there. We've talked about this $80 level. It's huge. There's a couple 100,000 shares up there at the point. So you know that's where the high-frequency guys get in the 79.90s, and they like to lean on it. I do have a trading position on in Johnson Johnson for full disclosure. But Joel, what's your take on this one? Can it take out that 80? Can it take out?
I've talked about it not taking out 78, not taking out 78.5, not taking out 79. But 80, man, 80 is a big number in this. Got up to 94 yesterday. I mean, that's the only reference point you have. Keep an eye, kind of a tight range yesterday, 79.47, kind of settled right in the middle of it. So those two levels, the high 94 and the low 47, should be good levels to play today.
Procter & Gamble, too. Same type of deal. It keeps getting up here in the 77.5 area, and it keeps just selling off. I know it took out that seller that we had talked about at 77.5. Took it out 3 days ago, but really didn't get much above that. Yesterday did, if you bring up yesterday's chart, did tick slightly above 77.5 area, got up to 77.62, but then just turns around and somebody beats the stock, obviously selling off with the overall market, but just major resistance up there in the mid 77s.
Is that it's 77.36. I just see that. I mean, that's not the actual.
No.
Not. Is that an odd lot?
No, yeah, there's nothing. It's been an odd lot that traded.
Yeah, that was something late in the day. No, keep an eye on that 47 low from yesterday. Below that, we might be going to 76.11, which was the 5-day low.
$77, I think, is going to be a little bit big here today too. For some reason, I just think people are like starting to get nervous on this, and it gets back up into the 77 area. They're like, okay, good enough. I'll take my gains, because there's a lot of people sitting on gains in this Procter & Gamble. It has had a really nice run this year. Obviously, it started the year down around $68, so defensive stock up, 10-12% here to start the year is a really good move for stock, and there's people sitting on gains. So if this thing really started to look out, start to break down, it could break down in a hurry. So just got to be careful and conscious that there is people sitting on gains in a stock like that. Joel, let's go back to the overall market here. We are up 3 points. We're at 1550 once again here. We just seem to we seem to sell off. We seem to come back in the 1550s. And we hang out there, and then we'll sell off, and we'll come back, and we get up here again. Are we ever going to get out of this 1535 to 1555 area?
I don't know, Dennis. We did get a little pop off that durable goods order. 1551.50 was the high. Couldn't take that out. 1552 was Friday's close, so I'm targeting that area. I'm gonna call it major resistance for now. I think if we can pop above there, we'll revisit the 1558 level. If we come back down, I'm using the close as support, 47 even. And what do you know? 46.75 was the overnight low. So there's your support.
I don't like those 40s. I'm going to fight you on that support. We've cut through. I've watched it so many times, like I said earlier on the show. If you look at those last 3-4 days before that, we have basically cut through those 40s multiple times very quickly. I don't like buying these spoos until they get into the 30s, and I like selling them in the 1550s. That's what's been working for me.
We got a bet coming from one of our listeners, Kevin Basic. Is looking for 1565. We're trading at 1550. I will take 1535, Kevin. Or is that 15 points away?
You're betting with our listeners
and
now.
Kevin, and if you win, you get a 1-year free subscription.
You get a 1-year free subscription. It's free. You're all hurt there, Joel. What do you get, Joel, if you win though? You got to ask Kevin. What are you going to get? Free comments on our live show.
maybe we'll have Kevin on one day next week.
We should get Kevin on here.
That's what Kevin gets. We'll throw that in along with the free subscription. That's our show for today, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll get back for you tomorrow.